Hello there, YouTube. This is me, Rachel. Came to give you another YouTube update on my channel. I've actually got enough courage to enter one of my writings in my school's uh, newspaper. It was just something they decided to put together at the end of the year, so they could have done that at the beginning of the year. But anyways, I was actually dared by one of my friends. Like, I bet you want to do it. I bet you I will. I finally did it. But then when the newspaper came out, I didn't expect to get any compliments or congrats on it. But I got a lot of it. And this is the thing. Yeah. Wait a second. Oh shit. There we go. Yeah. The guy who did the cover art for it is actually one of my friends, Javante Brown. Badass skills. He drew the whole thing. Yeah, but I've actually gotten only 2 pages. No, not two, 4 pages full of my writings, which is pretty badass. Here's one of them: Loyalty by Dejo Dingle. And this one's called Beauty of the Sea. I'm gonna read that to you in a minute. Which one? Just for Now and Faded by Dejo Dingle. Yeah, pretty badass. Now, about this Beauty of the Sea. Beauty of the Sea is basically a story about. I really wouldn't say adventure because I didn't really input too much adventure into it. This is just something to experience with. Yeah, it's got like a twist. If you've seen that movie 1408, yeah, it has a sort of twist like that where shit just goes straight to hell. I mean, shit's spooky as shit. But anyways, yeah, it starts off saying, opened my eyes and saw you staring. She spoke softly. Must you really go to sea? I turned them over to my back and sighed. Yes, I must. Worked my arm underneath the cover to rub her stomach. You will soon be here. Yeah, can't wait. Just about one more month. Brought a smile to my face. The sun was just about to rise, and I was already getting ready for the trip ahead. Don't worry yourself. I'll be back within a week's time. I will wait for you. We will wait for you, she said with enthusiasm. Kissed her soft lips and kissed her well-rounded belly, then walked out the door. I wanted to turn back, but it would hurt even more, so I needed to stay focused. As I headed towards the ship's deck, I noticed the ship needed some improvement, but I paid it no mind. And as I settled in, I noticed something in the water. Could not figure out what it was that caught my eye. I just kept staring. I was startled when I heard the captain shout, "We're leaving docks. It's now or never." I watched as the boat departed farther and faster away. The day was long and hot, and so was the mead. I worked as a ship chef, cooking simple meals for the crew. It was a decent pay, so I didn't mind the job's aggravation. As the night began to set in, dark clouds started to form overhead. "It's going to storm tonight," said Captain Hernandez. Very true, there's no doubting that. It was late when the storm began. And I was still awake. I could not sleep. Kept thinking about being home and my beautiful wife. I'm sorry about that, folks. My damn battery sign came up. That's why I slurred a bit. Suddenly there was this terrible noise. Dashed up the deck of the ship to find the sail had been struck down. Ooh. It was a terrible sight to see. Men shouting and yelling for guidance. The waves grew rough, and the storm was getting worse. The screams of terrified men were no match for the roaring thunder. Rushed to the captain's quarters and banged on his door vigorously. "Captain, Captain, open up. Your men are dying out here." Though there was no answer, so I kicked open the door only to find him facing the window. "We're all going to die and drown to the bottom of the treacherous sea," he said. "What are you talking about?" I responded. "You will soon find out." And then he leaped out the window. Wow. My eyes grew wide with disbelief, took a few steps back, and tripped and fell on my back. My mind was spinning the whirlpool of questions, so I just laid there on my back. When I opened my eyes, the sun was beaming down at me. Must have slept through last night's terror. Sat up and peeked in the captain's room, only to find it empty. The crew members who were still alive came over to aid me. "Where are we?" I asked. "Hell if I know," said one. "What will we do for food?" "Where's the captain?" said two others. "He's gone," I whispered in a low tone. It was quiet for a few. "Well, we need food and water," said one of them. "What happened to all the supplies?" said a terrified member. "The storm last night took everything with it. I'm getting off this boat. Whoever wants to come with me, whoever wants to..." He worked as the ship's repairman. He worked as a ship's repairman. "You won't survive out there without food or water. Trust me, we will," he said with a smirk. So he and what was left of the crew climbed into the small boat. "You fools can go if you want. I'm not leaving this boat. Only death awaits any man who goes." Yet they still went on with their plan. As they lowered the boat, I got closer to the water surface. I peeked over the edge and saw something. Something so beautiful that it was terrifying. It was a demon of the sea. It took the form of a woman. She had hazel green eyes. Her skin was dead and pale, and her hair was short, as if someone had cut it, though her lower half was not human. Instead, she had tentacles of an octopus. I yelled out to warn them, but they paid me no mind. The creature poked her head above the water surface and began to sing. Her voice was lovely, but it was a trap. The men on the boat froze with fear and were under her spell, and one by one, each man jumped out of the boat to get closer to her. Once they got close enough, she simply just sucked the life out of each one of them. She tried to sing to me, but I covered my ears and ran to the barracks of the ship. Ran into the room and closed the door behind me and locked it. Sat down and tried to gather my thoughts together. Closed my eyes and prayed it was all but a dream. And when I opened them up, I found myself at home, lying with my wife. Ooh. I woke her up, telling her what have I dreamed. It's okay. It was all a dream. You're here with me now." The whole day I spent time with my wife and unborn son, talking to her stomach, constantly reminding her of how happy I was to be home out of that nightmare. And as we were about to go to sleep, I kissed her and whispered "I loved you" into her ear. She kissed me goodnight and slowly drifted off to sleep. Slowly I closed my eyes and fell into a deep slumber. Heard this sweet melody, so I opened my eyes and found myself back on the ship. No, I was never out. When will this terrible nightmare end? Screaming and tearing hair out of my head, trying to wake myself up, but it was no use. Headed to the head of the boat and peeked overboard, and once again I saw that beautiful creature. She began to sing to me this time. I did not fight it. Just as I was getting ready to jump, I felt someone grab my shoulder. Whoa there. Getting a bit close to the edge, don't you think? Turned around and saw it was Captain Mendez. "I thought you were dead," I said with a shock. What are you talking about?" he said with confusion. Are you ready to depart?" I hesitated to answer, but I said no. A month has passed and my son has been born. Received a mysterious knock at my door. The dock's commissioner said, You know that boat you were supposed to board? Yeah, I do. What about it? Well, we have not gotten word from them in a month, he said. Tell me something. Exactly why didn't you depart with that ship? And that's it, people. Comment it. Tell me what you think. Thanks.